Hi everyone, welcome to Netgate Chemistry. So in coordination chemistry, in previous videos we have already discussed about the electroneutrality principle, right, and the applications of it also. So we have also discussed some things about the ligands, their classifications. So now we'll continue with the ligands only, and we'll discuss some of the classifications, some more of the classifications of the ligands also, right. So first of all, we have discussed in ligands that if we are talking about the denticity of a ligand, then what you have to do, you have to look for donating sites, right? SITES, sites. You have to look for donating sites. So for example, I have NH3 type of a ligand. We know that whenever ammonia acts as a ligand, it donates its lone pair to the metal. So because here only one donating site is present, so ammonia is a monodentate ligand having denticity equals to 1, right? Also, if we talk about water, this also donates its one lone pair to the metal, so its denticity value is also equals to 1, right? So now you know about denticity, right? That for denticity you have to look for donation sites. So now I am talking about another ligand, EDTA. Okay, before that, if you look at this molecule, right, and in this ligand, then you will realize that this oxygen which is present, it has got two lone pairs, right? So why it is not donating the second lone pair? So the question is that why it is not showing the denticity is equals to 2. The reason is that suppose this oxygen has donated its one lone pair is remaining, right? Now because it has donated one lone pair to the metal, so it is going to develop positive charge, right? It has donated its lone pair to the metal, so now it has got positive charge on it, and we know that oxygen being electronegative, it is also having positive charge on it, which is highly unstable. Now there are no ways by which it is going to donate its lone pairs, okay, because oxygen is already electronegative, and on an electronegative element you are having positive charge, so it is not going to donate its lone pair. So in this case, even though oxygen is having two lone pairs, but it is not going to donate both of its lone pairs due to the electronegative nature of this oxygen. So for water acting as a ligand, denticity is always equals to 1 and not 2, okay. This was one important aspect. Okay, now we'll go for EDTA. EDTA is ethylene CH2 diamine, right, tetra acetate groups. Similarly, two groups here. Right, this is EDTA, and if we look at total charge on this EDTA ligand, then it is 4 negative, right? So it has got 4 negative charge. So if we talk about denticity, then maximum denticity which this ligand can show is 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 donations will be from oxygen site and 2 will be from the site of nitrogen. So total denticity for EDTA 4 negative is 6, right? But now I want to discuss with you something, that what if I block one of the site, that is if I protonate one of the site. For example, if I'm talking about EDTA which is protonated by 1H. So now it will be having 3 negative charge, right? And then for this one, this molecule will become H. Okay, negative charge will go and H will attach here. This will be the structure of now EDTAH 3 negative. So what will be the denticity of EDTAH 3 negative? For this, you have to count for the remaining donor sites. That will be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Denticity will be 5. If I talk about EDTA H2, right, and 2 negative, then what will happen? It will be having denticity of 4. So here I am going to protonate 2 of the oxygen sites. For example, one is already protonated and second I have protonated this site. Okay, so this will be having denticity of 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, now again if I am talking about EDTA, in which 3 of the acetate groups are protonated by 3 hydrogens, 1 negative charge, then it will be having denticity of 3. Now you know that here one site will also be blocked, right? So here denticity will be 3. Now why I am talking about this ligand? The reason is that one question has come in net, in which you had to tell about the coordination number of this complex MgEDTaH2. Okay, MgEDTaH2 2 negative. You have to tell about the coordination number. This was the question. So now you know what will be the coordination number of this complex. This ligand, first you have to find out the denticity of this ligand. This ligand will be having the denticity of 4, that we know now. So 4 of the sites will attach to magnesium. If 4 of the sites are attaching, then the coordination number is going to be 4. Okay, so the correct answer was 4. So that is why I discussed the case of EDTA. Okay, so this is a very important example. Okay, also one thing to mention here is that the EDTA which is present here, it can show denticity of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? All these denticity values it can show. So those ligands which can show more than one denticity values, these are known as flexidentate ligands. Okay, so EDTA is a flexidentate ligand. Okay, now we'll discuss one more ligand which is flexidentate in few moments. Okay, so now moving on, if you remember, I had star marked one point that in case of chelate rings, 5-membered rings are most stable, followed by 6, followed by 4. 4-membered rings and 3-membered rings. 4 and 3-membered rings, these are very unstable rings. Okay, so always remember that. So if I take an example of a ligand which is NO3 negative, okay, like this. Now this ligand, it can act as bidentate ligand if it attaches with metal like this. But the problem is that after it makes this type of a ring structure, 4-membered ring is formed, and we know that this 4-membered ring which is formed, it is unstable ring, right? It is an unstable ring. So formation of 4-membered rings is very conditional. That is, there are certain conditions, only in those conditions these types of rings, 4 or 3-membered rings, are going to be formed, otherwise not, because these type of rings are very unstable. So for example, if I take the case of this ligand, along with copper 2 positive, right, then what happens? It is going to form copper NO3 6 4 negative complex, right? Here this ligand, 6 of these ligands are going to attach with copper. This ligand shows denticity value of 1. Okay, that is only one side gets attached to copper. That is why the coordination number for this complex is 6. Okay, because denticity is 1, so only one of the side of oxygen is used to attach with central metal atom, right? This is the first case. In second case, again the same ligand, NO3 negative, along with cerium 4 positive. It is also going to form a complex like this, CeNO3 6 2 negative, right? But here the coordination number of this complex is found to be 12, because here this ligand shows the denticity value equals to 2. Okay, here this ligand is showing it denticity 1, and here it is showing denticity value of 2. So this type of ligand is also coming under the category of flexidentate ligands, because it is showing denticity of 1 also and 2 also. So it is also coming under the category of flexidentate ligands. Okay, also one thing to note down here is that cerium and copper, here cerium is present in high oxidation state, right? So here what happens is that there is high oxidation state of cerium, so there is high requirement also. There is a requirement of high coordination number. Why? Because oxidation state is high. This we know, right? That how oxidation state is responsible for increasing the coordination number. Okay, so because oxidation state is very high, so there is more requirement of coordination number. So that is why here this NO3 negative, this ligand shows the denticity value of 2, because here there was the requirement, due to which it forms a complex having coordination number 12. And this question has been asked in NET. It was asked that what is the coordination number of this compound, so the answer was 12. Okay, so here also NO3, this ligand act as flexidentate ligand. Okay, now while showing you the examples of the ligands, I showed you two of the examples, which were NO2 negative and ONO negative. There I mentioned that in this case donation is from the site of nitrogen, and here the donation is from the site of oxygen, right? So consider these two ligands along with one more ligand, that is NH2. Okay, here these two donating sites are available. Okay, so first I'm going to discuss about this ligand. Okay, in case of NH2, there are very less chances that it is going to show denticity of 2. Why? Because if it is showing denticity of 2, then both of these sites will be donating the electrons towards the central atom. But what happens when both of them are going to donate, then 3-membered ring will be formed, and this type of ring again is very unstable, right? So mostly in cases of NH2, these are going to show denticity equals to 1. Mostly they are going to show denticity equals to 1, because if they are going to show the denticity of 2, then 3-membered ring will be formed, which is very unstable. Okay, so now moving ahead, if I take the case of NH2 here, okay, so there are two sites available. Suppose this is site 1 and this is site 2. Okay, so first donation is from site 1, right? So here suppose one metal is attached. Okay, and if the donation is from site 2, then it will be like that. right? So if we look at both of these two, then there is no difference, right? Both of these are same. So this is one case. Now if I talk about the case of NO2 and ONO, suppose there are two ligands, NO2 and ONO negative, right? Here NO2 is donating electrons to the central atom, and here oxygen is donating. Now if we look at both of these two, then both of these are different, right? These are same and these are different. So from here we are going to draw out one conclusion, that is monodentate ligands, here also it is monodentate, here also, and here also. So monodentate ligands having different donor sites. Here the donor sites are same, that is nitrogen and nitrogen, right? Here the donor sites are different, nitrogen and oxygen. So I am considering the case of having different donor ligands. Okay, they are going to show ambidentate behavior. Okay, right? And here what will happen, the energy difference between the non-bonding terminal pairs will be very less. So this we will discuss after some lectures when we are done with our molecular orbital theory. Okay, so far you have to see that monodentate ligands having different donor ligands, they are going to show ambidentate behavior, but the non-bonding pairs which are present on them, the non-bonding pairs, the energy between them should be low, that is either nitrogen can donate or oxygen can donate. Okay, the energy difference between the non-bonding is not much. Okay, that also we are going to explain with the help of an example. For example, we study carbonyls a lot as a ligand, right? CO ligand, we study them a lot. Here oxygen is also carrying a lone pair and carbon is also carrying a lone pair, right? So what happens in this case, the donation is always from the site of carbon. Always carbon donates its lone pair to the metal. Here there is no ambidentate behavior. Okay, so what happens, energy profile here is very important, because in case of carbonyl what happens, the non-bonding are having, if this is the energy sequence, then energy of non-bonding of carbon will be here and energy of non-bonding of oxygen will be here. Okay, so naturally the non-bonding of carbon are going to donate their electrons. Okay, so this is the case of carbonyls in which both of the sites are not going to donate the electrons, only one will be able to donate the lone pair. Okay, so these type of ligands are not going to show ambidentate behavior. So the energy ordering of non-bonding pairs is very important. Okay, based on that only we can find out which one are having ambidentate behavior and which one are not having ambidentate behavior. For example, in case of CN also, carbon is having and nitrogen is having lone pair. Mostly carbon donates its lone pairs. Okay, so this is the reason for some of the ligands which show ambidentate behavior and some of the ligands which are having two different donor sites but still they are not able to show ambidentate behavior. So I think this video is going very long, so far that's it for this video. In the next video we are going to discuss about the valence bond theory. Okay, so far that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching.